Hey everybody, Lead Speed here. Yikes, it's been like almost 3 weeks. In fact, when this goes up, it may have been 3 weeks since the last video was uploaded. Oh my god. If you couldn't tell, I just sound kind of weird. I just sound like really out of it, just a little bit. And I just haven't been, I don't feel all that confident right now, just like I just haven't been in the mood to upload anything or even do commentary because I don't know. It's just that, well, one, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of new stuff that's been revealed. That makes me happy. All the new stuff that we find out about in the TCG, that could be fun to use or something like that. And then I look at, like, let me put it like this. My Gusto deck, like, there were many times where I go to it and I want to use it, but then I back off like a chicken. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I just back away because I'm like, wait a minute. I'm just going to be running into Elemental Dragons, Prophecy, etc., even though I played Prophecy before, the Judgment Day or whatever. I'm just saying it's just, that Spellbook of Judgment is just crazy and stuff like that. And then Elemental Dragons are crazy because of the baby Elemental Dragons, and, everyone's going nuts with that. First turn Line Darkness Dragon and Dragosack. Yeah, I don't know. It's not fun to deal with, and, I know that, and, I've done it before. So, yeah, it's not fun for the opponent at all. I mean, there's, like, no interaction at all. I mean, when I play Gustos, I mean, there's just about every bit of interaction in the game. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's why I actually had the courage to try to get a decent game with this deck against something, hopefully not Elemental Dragons, because yeah, the game would like be over in like 2 seconds because I would just rage quit or something, or hit admit defeat then quit, because that's the proper way to do it. But yeah, I haven't been all that excited to play Gustos, as you kind of know, and honestly, I've just never felt so discouraged to play that deck. And you know what, Mermail? I almost want to stop playing it. Not because I think it's bad or anything, or because, Evil Swarms. It's just because now it's like there's apparently a new standard of 53 to 60 card Mermail Atlantean decks using the Gen X Undyne engine and stuff like that. And now I look bad. Now I look just shitty because I'm running 43 in mine right now. And stuff like that, and I never ran Gen X Undyne because I never want to draw the controller, but I get why it makes sense to run that many. I think Long Dao it was, or I'll put the proper name on the screen if I'm wrong again, but yeah, I believe he got first place at very recent YCS using a 53 card Mermail deck, and then I think he ran a 48 card Mermail deck prior to that. So, the guy's obviously very innovative. He's a very good player and stuff like that. I'm not going to take that away, but I just wouldn't be comfortable doing it. I just wouldn't be comfortable running 53 cards, even though everything searches itself. I don't know. I just feel like, well, why would I do it? It's just not my play style. I mean, if I choose to run that many cards, it's just because, my play style shifted. But right now, it's just that, it's cool that, some people could be kind of crazy, and you know what that also means? It also means it just makes me feel even worse about playing Mermail, because now Mermail's so good that you can just win YCSs with a 53 to 60 card deck. It's like, holy crap. But yeah, enough about that. I'll see you guys after the intro, where I have my Gusto against Dino Rabbit or Macro Rabbit or whatever, and that was probably one of the oddest matches I've had in ages, so that's just how it always goes on Dueling Network. But yeah, see you guys after the intro. Peace. Hey everybody, Lee Speed here. Ah yes, you are seeing Gustos. That is right. It is something that you probably were not expecting me to upload a game with. Not since like not since the random game I had with them lately, but you know, that's just how it is. I mean, things happen and sometimes I've just never felt so discouraged of playing one of my favorite decks that I've ever played in my life. It's just like so much fun to play, and there are times where it can just do some pretty awesome and crazy plays. But you had to build up to them, so there was no herping and derping that much. I mean, you could herp derp, but you can't really herp derp as much with Gusto as you could with Mermaid Atlanteans. And I mean, even with Mermaid Atlanteans, you sometimes draw utter crap and you can't do anything. So it happens. But with this video, I'm not going to talk about, well, I'll talk about Mermaid, but I'm not going to talk about the whole 53 card, 60 card Mermaid deck that, you know, that might be standard or whatever, but I don't know. I saw at least like one top of YCS or something like that that had 60, I think, which was kind of crazy. I think it was, or was it a regionals? I think it was in Iowa though. Like, I don't know, don't quote me on that. It was somewhere, and then it saw a 60 card Mermaid deck, which was like, holy crap. That's a whole lot of Mermaid cards. But yeah, he was running the Gen X Undyne engine, but you know, I already talked about my thoughts on the Gen X Undyne engine. I don't prefer it, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's just not my preferred play style, honestly, but who knows, maybe I have to play it, so who knows. But anyways, I want to talk about something different though. I want to kind of take you guys on memory lane. Now you might think, wait, what are you talking about? Well, I'm talking about, well, mainly my imgur account. Like, it's where I used to post like a lot of interesting screenshots of like me playing certain decks like Madolche, Gusto, Prophecy, and even some Mermails. And you know, I played Chaos Dragons and Gaga, Chaos, you know, stuff like that. I mean, I looked at some of the screenshots the other day. In fact, I'm on the webpage right now, so I can kind of reference some of them for you if, you know, well, I'm gonna do it anyways. But yeah, I look at some of these and I'm like, wow, some of these games were like really crazy, all crazy. Like, you know, it was like, you know, it was just, sometimes I was in a really tight spot. Like I was playing against Gravekeepers one time, and it was just like it was really tough. But then I managed to play around back row and stuff like that, and I was able to make a push for game where I couldn't have done it otherwise, because I drew like E-Telly or something like that, because I had a screenshot of me using E-Telly in the battle phase, summoning out Serene Psychic Witch and swinging for that last bit of damage for game. And you know, he had Necro Valley out, so I had a Monster Reborn that was dead in my hand and stuff like that. So I had a lot of dead cards, but at the same time, it was just like really good, because it was like down a little wire. He had 1300 life, I had 1500 life, so it was just like pretty even for the most part, even though his deck would normally kind of give mine a huge disadvantage, because, you know, Gustos rely on recycling stuff from the graveyard, you know, or summoning from the deck. I mean, if the graveyard part shut off for you, then it's like, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a really difficult game for you. So, you know, just stuff like that. It's just something that, you know, I can learn to appreciate, having really tough situations and sometimes getting out of it, you know, unscathed or something like that. And, you know, it's kind of weird. Like when I played Gustos or whatever, there were just like some pretty crazy things I went up against, and you know, Hieratics was one of those things. And I remember playing against stuff like you know, Sea Lancer Frogs. That kind of gave me some trouble, because, you know, stuff like Caius was a card and stuff like that. But surprisingly, you know, it didn't seem as bad as I thought. But I don't know, certain cards in the deck were just like MVPs, if you will. Like Reese was like MVP and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's just like, I look at some of these and I'm like, wow, these games were pretty crazy close, like either really close or I just got raffle stomped sometimes. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, there were all sorts of decks I kind of ran into, and then I ran into like, I think I ran into some like weird trolling deck with Giant Germ, level limit area B, stuff like that, and you know, I won that fairly easily. But you know, the thing is, it's like when I look at some of these older games, I'm like, how come how come games can't be like that when I play Gustos now? Like when I play Gustos right now, I just feel so depressed every time just because things, I know, and I know you guys are thinking, well, those old days are over, but the thing is, there was something about them that I liked, like why I played Gustos so much. And honestly, people, like, if people even hear the word Gusto, they're probably going to be like, what are Gusto and yada yada yada. Or the only Gusto they're going to know of is the Gusto Phoenix, that rank 2 Xyz. That's probably the only Gusto monster besides Emerald that they even care about. So, you know, it's just stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Like, I look at some of these and I'm like, wow, some of these games were insane. I played against like Malefics running the Magical Citadel or whatever, the Magical Citadel of Endymion and stuff like that. And there was, I think I had one where I was playing against, I was like playing against some Hieratics and some other weird decks like that. But yeah, I even have like screenshots of me playing Madolche and some Prophecy, stuff like that. It's kind of, I've actually played Prophecy longer than I thought I did, to be completely honest. Like, I forgot how much I actually did play Prophecy and how much I teched certain cards in the deck back then. I teched in Endymion, the Master Magician. Yeah, I teched that guy of all guys, and I know some people probably did too. And honestly, I thought it was a pretty cool tech because, you know, back then I was running like Royal Decree, and honestly, that was a really good card in the deck because I didn't run that many traps. And basically, like, if I get a High Priestess and I have Royal Decree, the only thing that you could really get rid of her with is monster effects, which there weren't too many that I would run into that would just kill her right off the jump. And then spells, and obviously I would have Spellbook of Wisdom for that. So yeah, I was like taking in Endymion, the Master Magician, because, you know, you discard a spell and destroy a card on the field, and with the way the deck operated, you would always have a spell in your hand most of the time. So I mean, it was kind of cool. I mean, I tech some very weird shit, and then in Madolche, I think I ran Gen X Ally Birdman and stuff like that. You know, just stuff like that, just some weird stuff that, you know, some people played, but, you know, it's fallen out of favor, and obviously it's bad now. But who knows? Maybe they'll make a comeback. Maybe stuff like Birdman will make a comeback in Madolche. I don't know. It's, you know, it's just wishful thinking on my behalf. So I don't know. I just look at some of these older games and I'm like, yeah, some of these games were amazing because I was using cards that people hadn't really used, or they were uncommon at least. But yeah, and I mean, I even played against like random decks like Battery Action, just Samachi Burn and stuff like that. And I mean, I'll have screenshots of some of these games, and, you know, maybe you guys have your own personal experiences playing like older decks that you really love and stuff like that. Who knows? Like, maybe you have something like that. Maybe you guys have crazy tales of your own. I know that people have some crazy tales about older times with certain decks or whatever, or they played a deck for a long time and, you know, they've had some really fond memories, if you will. And honestly, I feel like, I guess it's why I'm posting this video. It's just that I feel like this might make me happy. This might cheer me up, you know, talking to you. Well, even though I'm just talking to the microphone, but I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to you guys. It's like if you were there directly, and I was telling you about the old times I had with decks like Gusto and Madolche, you know, before Madolche became like amazing, like really amazing or whatever. And then, you know, decks like Gagagas that no one really played, or people played. People just didn't think it was all that great. And honestly, they still need a bit more to be really good. But, you know, Gagaga Kid's obviously a really good addition to the deck. So I don't know. And yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Like, I look at some of these old pictures and I'm like, wow, how come I can't get games like these anymore? Because, I mean, damn, some of the games I had were just crazy, and some of the decks I played against were even crazier. You know? I don't know. Like, you know, let me know in the comments, like, some experiences you've had with, like, some of your favorite older decks. Like, you know, I talk about Gusto mainly and Madolche and Prophecy and stuff like that. And, you know, I had some with Mermail, but, you know, those were back in the older days. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, and, you know, I'll talk about other stuff later. So, Peace out, guys.